everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are joining me for the first time today. My name is Lucy and today, I'm sure you can probably see by the title and the thumbnail, but I have the Huda Beauty Neon Obsessions palettes to try out for you today, and this is the look I created with them. So if you do want to see my final thoughts on the palettes and how I created this look, then please do keep watching. So I'm pretty much ready to jump right into the eyeshadow. Today I have the brand new Huda Beauty Neon Obsessions palettes to try. Now you have probably seen these floating around the internet and around Instagram and stuff like that. People have had a little bit of a problem with the fact that they are called Neon Obsessions, but they aren't neon palettes as such. So these are the three palettes, and I'm not holding them properly, but this is the Pink Obsessions palette, this is the orange one in the middle, and the Green Obsessions on the outside. So you can kind of see there are a few pops of neon colour in there, but they are really not neon palettes like everyone was kind of expecting from the neon vibe. I do have to say though that I am obsessed with this packaging. First of all, they are a really cute size. I knew they were going to be anyway because the other Obsessions palettes by Huda Beauty are this size as well. But I really love this whole plastic kind of neon sign kind of vibe. You know those neon signs that like light up and they just look really cool? That's kind of the vibe they've gone for with the packaging as well. So this one is the Orange Obsessions, and I would say this one is the most vibrant out of the three. Obviously you can see it is a little bit of a jumble of colours. Like we've got a green up here, a yellow in the corner, then some pinks and some oranges. It is a little bit random, but to be honest with you, I think the palette actually fits together really nicely with the random colour scheme. Then we have got the Pink Obsessions palette, which you can see is very much pink and purple toned. It doesn't really stray far from the colour it says it is. When you compare it to the orange one, you can see that there are a few similarities. These purples on the corners, they look quite similar. There's also a pink shade in here that looks quite similar to this one. They are a little bit similar, which is a little bit annoying because I think that this one should have a bit more of a variety of like oranges and yellows and stuff like that, but I think these palettes are quite pretty anyway. And then we have got the Green Obsessions palette, which is really lovely actually. Again, a bit of a random colour scheme, but I think it works really nicely together. So we've got three green shades down here, then we've got some shimmer shades, a shimmer kind of dark blue, a peach colour, and I know it looks like a white in the middle, but it's actually like an iridescent kind of blue. If any of you have seen the Mermaid's pigment by Peaches and Cream, it's kind of the same kind of shade as that. So I'm going to do a quick few swatches of these palettes, because if you guys saw my previous video where I used the Huda Beauty palettes before, you would have seen I had a little bit of an issue with the paler colours in those palettes. On the whole they were okay, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the palette, so I'm going to do a few swatches first before I put the pigments on my eyes. So I think I'm going to pick two shades from each palette. I'll pick a shimmer and then a matte as well. So with this one here, I'm really intrigued to try this purple shade because it's the brightest colour in the palette. Okay, so it does actually feel really nice and soft. I'm just going to swatch that on the back of my hand. I mean, it's there, you can see the colour. It's definitely not as vibrant and bright as I thought it was going to be. I feel like this is definitely going to be a shadow you've got to work up. I just hope it's not going to come off patchy on the eye. I'm also going to try the shimmer purple, which is in the middle of the palette as well, and just swatch that right next door. Oh, that's actually really pretty. Oh my goodness, can you see all those blue reflex in there? That's a stunning shade. Okay, so that purple has swatched much nicer than the matte one did, so I have high hopes for these shimmers. That looks really pretty. Okay, with the Orange Obsessions palette, I think I want to swatch the two yellowy shades in here. I think I'm going to swatch this yellow because you guys know I am a lover of a yellow shadow. Oh, that definitely doesn't look how I thought it was going to look on my finger. Oh, okay. So there's the matte yellow shade. It's really clinging to my fingerprint. Definitely not what I thought it was going to look like, but let's give it a swatch. Okay, so I'm really not loving that formula of yellow. As far as a swatch goes, it's really not great. It's clinging to every single fine line on my skin. You could see it was clinging to my fingerprint, and now it's clinging to all of the little lines on the back of my hand. So I guess we're gonna have to see how it works on the eye, but swatch-wise, it's definitely not the best. I'm also just going to do this bright green kind of tennis ball colour. So same thing is happening there again. I don't actually know if that's going to focus, but it is clinging to my fingerprint. You can see very clearly the outline of my fingerprint with that shadow, but let's see how it swatches. Okay, so the swatch is actually quite pretty. It's a nice colour, but again, it is picking up on every single one of my fine lines in there. And with the Green Obsessions palette, obviously I'm going to swatch this green shade down here because I'm intrigued to see how it performs. Okay, so again, that's done the exact same as the yellow shade did. I really don't know if that's going to focus at all. Look, it just looks really clumpy and a very strange kind of formula. I'm really not sure why it's doing that, but let's give it a swatch. Oh, well that was just disappointing, wasn't it? Let's try again. See if we can build it up. I have got to say they do feel very, very soft and buttery, but they're not coming off very nicely on the hand. It's just a bit disappointing, really. I mean, you can't even really tell that's a green. Can you see it compared to the yellow? It just doesn't look very different. Let's try this dark purpley blue kind of shade as well. That one's actually quite pretty. Let's give it a swatch along the top here. Oh, so it actually comes off more purpley than I thought. Okay, it looks definitely very different on the camera than it does in person. It looks a lot more purpley than it does like blue. It is a pretty shade, but I can't really see it being that opaque when you put it on the eye. Okay, so I don't really want to do anything overly complicated for this look. I'm really just trying to test out how they blend together, how the shadows work on the eye, basically, if they look opaque, if they look a little bit patchy or streaky or whatever. I just want to test the shadows, so I don't want to do some really intricate look with this. So before I do anything, I am just going to set a primer down onto my eyes. So I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. I've been testing this out for the last couple of weeks since I received it, and I actually really like it, but I do want to know if you guys want to see a review video or a comparison video between the P. Louise base and the Anastasia Beverly Hills base, a bit like I did the Battle of the Bases with the Sample Beauty one and the P. Louise one. So do let me know if you want to see that with the Anastasia and the P. Louise one as well. Okay, so first up I'm going to take that dark kind of purpley shade from the Green Obsessions palette, and I'm just going to pack that on with a packing brush all over to the centre of my lid. I mean, I'm really scraping it out of the pan and it's really not showing up. It's so annoying because these shadows swatch so nicely, but they really don't work with a brush. Maybe I should try it with my finger instead, see if I'll have any more luck that way. So it does show up a little bit more with your finger, but I'm someone who likes to apply shadows with my brushes rather than my finger. I think you can get more of an precise application with a brush, so it's not really ideal that it doesn't work with a brush. It definitely does look pretty, to be honest with you, but I think where you're fooled that it's going to be a dark shade in the pan, you expect it to come out dark on the eye as well, but it's really not. It's kind of just a reflective blue with a little bit of purple in it as well. I'm going to take the Pink Obsessions palette and I'm going to take this purple shade. I think this is the one I swatched earlier. Yeah, it is. And I'm just going to take that around the edges of that shimmer. Okay, so immediately it's definitely coming out more pink than it is purple. In fact, it doesn't even look the same shade in the pan as it does on the eye. I do have to say these shadows are very, very sheer. Like, I don't know how well you can actually see it in the camera, but it's very, very sheer, especially on the bits at the top of the shade. I think with someone like me who's used to such bright, vibrant, neon colored shadows, these ones are a bit disappointing considering they're supposed to be called the Neon palette, and the shades are actually very, very sheer and not showing up as pigmented as I would like them to. I do just want to say, by the way, in no way am I trying to bash the Huda Beauty brand. There is so many of the Huda Beauty products that I absolutely love. I just think that for the price point, these shadows are very, very overrated and very, very expensive for what you get, especially for people who are going to be fooled into thinking these are like some really bright, vibrant neon palettes, and then you receive it and it kind of does this. So far I have only tested 2 of the shades on my eye, so I don't want to give too much away, but I'm hoping that the other shades will pick up a little bit better, because at the moment this shade I'm using here isn't that great. I'm just going to show you quickly the shade I was using. It's this shade here. That's literally the exact same shade I've just used from the palette on my eye, and they don't look anything alike. It's just not really ideal, is it? I mean, if I'm using a purple shadow, I'd quite like for it to be purple, not pink. Right, moving on, I'm going to go in with this shade up here in the Orange Obsessions palette. I really have high hopes for this shade because I love peachy orange shades, so please don't let me down. So this shade is actually slightly better. It's definitely showing up a bit more true to the shade it is in the pan. However, again, it is a very, very sheer formula. I really can't figure this out because it looks so pigmented and so pressed into the pan in a particular shade. And it's just so sheer on the eye. I mean, you can barely even see that pink shade now I've put it down. Like, where has it gone? It's completely blended out into thin air. Trust me, guys, I'm really trying to make this work because I really wanted to post this look, but I really can't see myself posting it anymore. I'm now going to try this yellow shade, and fingers crossed this will pull it back together because I really need something to pull this look back together at this point. So this yellow shade's actually not too bad, to be honest with you. It is clinging slightly to my dry patches on my eye, but I was kind of expecting that, seeing as it clung to my finger and clung to the skin on the back of my hand as well. But the colour wise, it's actually showing up a lot brighter than the other shades have so far. I like that it's also blending in with the colour underneath to create like a middle toned kind of orange. I don't know how well you're seeing this, but it is blending to create a really sunset shade, and it's actually really nice. I'm using the same brushes, same technique, same everything, same eye base as I normally do with my looks and all of my other shadows and palettes, and you can kind of tell it's just not really performing the same as some of the other palettes that I like to use. Okay, so in that meantime, whilst my camera just decided to die, which is really fun, by the way, I went back in with that purple shade to try at least to re-intensify it, and I don't really know if it made much of a difference. You guys can kind of be the judges of that if you want to. To be completely honest, I really think that these palettes have missed a trick by not putting any dark shades in the palette. By looking at it, you'd think that this was the dark shade out of the palette, but obviously we can see it's not a dark shade and it hasn't even come out the colour it's supposed to be anyway. I really think that in order to make these like usable for not an everyday look, because not everyone wears colours every day, but you know what I mean, you need a mixture of some shimmers, some mattes, some dark and some lighter colours, and they haven't got any dark colours to blend with these palettes, so it's kind of not giving me much definition. They are looking super sheer on my eyes. These are the types of shadows that will wear off within an hour or two. These will not last looking vibrant all day. Again, please don't think I'm bashing Huda Beauty, because that's not oh, there's a fly in here. As I was saying, that's not at all my intentions. I am literally just trying to be truthful for you guys, and so you don't have to waste your money. What I am going to do to bring back a little bit of life to this look is use the Fangulous pigment by Peaches and Cream, which is what I mentioned earlier. It's a very, very similar shade to this shadow that I kind of half have on my lid. If this look wasn't looking bad enough already. I honestly don't even know. I don't even know what to do at this point. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna have to do for the time being is just quickly pop off camera. I might do a quick winged eyeliner to hide this kind of messy blend on the outer edges here. Just do a quick little wing and then pop on some lashes, and I will either come back to you to finish up or come back to you to wipe it all off. So we'll soon see.
2 hours later.
Oh, my hair is going absolutely crazy. Little flyaways everywhere. I'm just coming back in to finish up the under eye, so I'm going to start by taking the Sleek Intense Waterliner in the shade Black, just on my waterline down here. Now I'm starting with the same purple shade I started with from the Pink Obsessions palette. I'm just taking that underneath my eye, followed by the orange and the yellow from the Orange Obsessions palette. So I'm just going to finish up using the Huda Beauty lip contour in the shade Spice Girl with the Graduation Day lipstick on top, and then the Peaches and Cream lip gloss in the shade Back Chat. To finish this look completely, I just want to test out this bright orange, no, it's definitely not orange, this bright greeny yellow kind of shade right on my inner corners, just because why not? I don't feel like this look could get much worse at this point. To be honest with you, that shade's actually probably the nicest one out of the ones I've tried today. It actually looks all right on the eye and it wasn't as sheer as I thought it was going to be. Just before I wrap up this video, I actually remembered that I also have the Huda Beauty Resting Boss Face Setting Spray, which has been a very controversial topic in the beauty community. A lot of people have been saying it's got a very strong fragrance, it smells like a hairspray and just not that great. So I'm just going to finish up by spraying my face with this and giving you my thoughts on the setting spray. Okay, yeah, it is quite a strong scent. It actually does smell like hairspray. And it's a little bit worrying that it's on my face. It also makes my eyes immediately a bit like, not sting, but you know when they just don't feel right. I don't know, it doesn't feel like something that should go on my face. Let's see what the ingredients are. Okay, well, the first word I've read is contains alcohol and fragrance. First of all, alcohol is something that shouldn't really be in makeup. Alcohol is incredibly drying to your skin and it's actually very bad for your skin as well. To have alcohol and fragrance in a setting spray, which you're gonna be piling on top of your face, is probably not the best ingredient to have. To be honest with you, at the end of the day, a setting spray is a setting spray, and if I ran out of all my other ones, I probably would use it, but obviously it's not ideal. So you guys, this is my finished look using the brand new Huda Beauty Neon Obsessions palette. I feel like I've made it very clear throughout the video my kind of thoughts on these palettes. Let's just say I'm very disappointed, unfortunately. I really wanted to love these palettes, seeing as they say neon, and you know me, I love me a bit of colour. I really do think they missed a trick in these palettes by not putting in a darker shade, just because I feel like it's really hard to create a look if you don't have a darker shade for some definition or some depth in the eye. They are absolutely stunning to look at, especially the orange one. I would say this is my favourite one out of all of the three, just because I love the colour story in it. However, I am again disappointed that the shades did not come out the way they look in the pan. I feel like this look could have been really pretty if I had used another palette which was a little bit more pigmented and would have given me a little bit more colour. And I know it definitely doesn't look awful now that the whole thing is finished. There's definitely going to be a lot of you being like, oh, you're so picky, you know, it looks great, blah blah. And I really do appreciate if some of you think that, but for me, I feel like I know colour and this is not really what I want from a colourful eyeshadow palette. I am gifted these products by Huda Beauty, so I am insanely grateful to the Huda Beauty team for gifting me these. However, they are not my favourite palettes I've tried, let's just say that. So yeah. Whilst the rain is blaring in the background, I am just going to wrap up this video here. So thank you so much for watching as always. If you do decide to recreate this look with maybe a different palette, then please do tag me on my Instagram, which is at Lsgmakeup. And if you did enjoy the video, then make sure to leave a thumbs up, a comment below, and also subscribe to my channel if you have not already and if you want to see more of my content. But yeah, I'm going to leave this one here for now. So thanks again for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye!